The size of it is far beyond the mind's reach. It can't be another ship. Sir, it's like something I've never seen before, and it's closing in at a preposterous speed. Wait, this can't be. It's disappeared.
What's up, YouTube? I hope you guys are all doing well tonight. Welcome to another Anson & Co. live stream. Tonight we're talking about how to have YouTube fund your next film or next project. Basically, how I make money on YouTube and some tips on like finding gear and having funding for your films through a YouTube channel, and some basically just some like business strategy around filmmaking. But before we get started, we'll get to that in just a little bit. We're going to get some chats right away. We've got Real Rides. Real Rides just put out an amazing documentary about kart racing. A young man that started out in kart racing and got into I don't know what, like normal track racing. Really good. You should go check it out. But he was saying, looking forward to this one. So absolutely, I am too. I don't normally talk about YouTube as like a part of my business practice or anything like that. So I'm probably kind of peeling back the veil here a little bit. Brian has a sunglass emoji, and my computer's acting weird. Probably you and me both. What? There was another one. There's another emoji. I don't know what that emoji is. I can't see it from all the way over here. But we got the sunglass emoji. So I hope you guys are doing well tonight. You know, I took a poll on my community tab. If you have ever wondered, actually, I'm going to do a sound check. Let's make sure. Perf. I gotta stop saying perf. But if you've ever wondered, I don't even know what I was saying. Oh my God, I'm out. Anyways, we're gonna get started here in a minute. Usually YouTube takes a minute to basically tell people that, hey, there's a stream going on. So we're going to wait for people to come in. Construction says, hey, dude, Construction, I feel like I call you Construction every time. I think if you're cool with it, I'd like to know your name just so I can call you by name. You might have told me before. I'm terrible about it, but I'm trying to be better at it. So let me know. Brian says, forget the emoji. That was the weird computer glitch. Fair. Oh, tonight. So if Leo joins the stream, Leo has kind of termed the what's up? Okay, awesome. What's up, Chris? I'm horrible about memory. I may ask you again, but you know, I figured let's give it a try. I always like, you know, especially people that come on pretty frequently, like to get to know you a little bit. So that being said, if you have not joined the Anson & Co Discord, not just Chris, but anybody else, come join the Anson & Co Discord. I'm going to put a link in the chat just in case, because most likely, usually when we do a live stream, we will continue to talk about the topic well into the eve, as they say. I don't know what that's about. But I'm going to drop that into the stream real quick. So tonight, like I said, we are talking about, I feel like I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I'm trying to get these streams to be a little bit more like buttoned up, and that throws me off because, you know, it's like, I'm used to like having editing making me look more buttoned up. And so a live stream making me look more buttoned up, I'm just like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what's happening. So Chris was saying YouTube rule of thumb is it takes 20 minutes for people to come into a live stream. That's why most timers are 10. Yeah, honestly, I probably should do a longer timer at the beginning. I like to give like a little bit of an intro, but that would make sense why timers are a little bit longer. What do you think about the infrared filters for the pocket cameras? Or think about the infrared. I haven't really tried any, to be honest. I need to. I don't know if there's like new ones that I just don't know about. Is one thing that like there's like gear every once in a while that I like just am kicking and screaming, like trying not to buy it. Infrared filters is one of them for the pocket cameras. So they are very useful. I've seen a lot of videos where like they're useful, some are not. Yeah. So I wish I had some authority on that. I don't. I need to get some. I would love to say I own the 6K Pro and it has the built-in ND with the IR cut, but don't have that. And so, is there a new infrared filter that has come out for the pocket cameras? I have been like in a hole this past week. We were on a leave or PTO last week. You guys were hearing some fire trucks. I apologize. We were on PTO this week before last because my daughter had a tonsillectomy. Go get them, guys. But yeah, so this is my first week back at my day job, and yeah, it's kicking my ass. So raw light. I need to look into this. I'm going to make a note of it. I'll check in on it. I'll let you know. Actually, something I got in this past week is the snap focal anamorphic filter. I have the Vid Atlantic anamorphic filter, but this one fits an 82 millimeter filter thread, and the Vid Atlantic only goes up to 77, I think. So, and my cinema lenses are 82. So I'm looking forward to using this. Now it's way cheaper feeling, but I want to do a review of it and maybe compare it to the Vid Atlantic, because the Vid Atlantic is like $80. This is, I think, $30-$40, but it's definitely like 3D printed. Gets the job done. All right, Chris says it replaces the internal filter on the 6K Pro, 6K, and 4K. Okay, but expensive. They have external ones for like $80. Interesting. I feel like I've seen that. I feel like I've seen that one maybe on like reviews or stuff like that, where they're putting it in front of the sensor, which scares the hell out of me every time. But I might have to check out the one you can pick up that's like an external. I guess it's like a screw-on filter at that point. So I'll have to check that out. Matter of fact, here, let me pull this up. So yeah, needless to say, I am work is kicking my ass. So I'm trying to I was trying to put the stream together today, and I was like, all right, I feel this. One, whiskey is happening. Oh, so this is how scatterbrained I am. I started talking about the whiskey. So Leo has termed my streams beards, gear, and whiskey, I think it is. Tonight we are working with the blackened whiskey. If you're not familiar, that is the whiskey that Metallica, or I guess Metallica branded. I don't know if they actually worked on, but it's their kind of branded whiskey. So it's pretty good. It's got a little bit of kick to it, but not raw light. Those are only internal, but ice are external. Gotcha. Okay, I see this. So I have it pulled up here. Bedtime. Okay. So yeah, you insert it internally, but I guess the ice you do externally. Dope. All right, check it out. Again, this is like one thing I've never paid attention to on the pocket cameras. I know they're notorious for not doing really good at infrared. So I need to, but it is what it is. Yeah, so absolutely. Chris says, nice Metallica. Yeah, it's not a cheap bottle. It's like a $50 bottle of whiskey. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's got a nice little, like I said, nice little kick to it. So I'm in for it. I'm here for it. All right. So let's it's been it's like 10, 12 minutes past. So again, the topic for tonight is basically YouTube funding your projects, or ways to utilize YouTube to fund your films, or fund your short films. There's a couple different ways that YouTube can help your indie filmmaking, whether it's you're making short films, whether you are just doing one-off projects, maybe you're trying to find some more funding for like bigger projects, whatever it may be. A couple of things I want to talk about are going to help you potentially see how maybe starting or utilizing your YouTube channel could help with funding. And it's not all monetary. There is a part of it that's monetary. Obviously, you can make money on YouTube. I'll be honest, I don't make a ton of money through YouTube. And so, there's obviously other things that go along with it. So I definitely want to get into it. I'm going to try something new. So I actually, like I said, I'm trying to be a little more buttoned up with the streams. And so I actually have some graphics, but I don't know how well it's going to go. So let's talk about the first thing. And the first thing is that was awkward. That was awkward. I don't know if I'll do that one again. But the first thing is affiliate marketing. I probably should have said affiliate marketing before. I'll learn next time. So affiliate marketing. Now, this is the one that I think everyone knows about. Affiliate marketing is not a new thing. A great way to make money on YouTube, especially before you become monetized, is to utilize affiliate marketing to just make money through driving revenue to other marketplaces. The biggest one probably is Amazon. I'll be honest, I started making money on YouTube really early in my review career with YouTube, or kind of stint with YouTube, because I affiliate marketed everything. Like everything had an affiliate link, and that made a little bit of money at first. I had to ask my wife, because she does all of her taxes. I was like, "Hey, babe, how much did I actually make last year with just affiliate marketing and through Amazon? Just Amazon. I don't really do a ton of affiliate marketing with other companies, but I made around $2,000 last year, and that's for a channel that has about 5,000 subscribers, a little bit over 5,000 subscribers. I don't get a ton of, honestly, even for 5,000, I don't get a ton of views a lot. Like, I think, I definitely have some that have some good traction. I don't have any video that's over 100,000 views. The thing about affiliate marketing that's really useful is that, let's say I'm doing a review of, I was going to bring out one of my more famous small things, but I forgot to grab it. But like, let's say I talk about this gray card. Or even like, I think over the holidays, I did like 10 gifts under $5 for your, filmmaker or whatever. Let's say I do an affiliate link for this gray card. This gray card's $10 max. If somebody clicks through my affiliate link and buys this, I think technically if they click on it and then go buy something else, I get a portion of that entire sale, because basically Amazon sees that as a way for, they came through your link, they got funneled through your link. And so you can't think of it as, this item is only like $10. I'm not going to do an affiliate link for this. No. Affiliate link everything, because, it doesn't charge your audience anymore. And if they want to help support the channel, it's the easiest way to do it. And ultimately, not even support the channel, but, support your filmmaking. And so, that's a big thing. If you're, if you are a person that's looking at doing indie films, or potentially looking at, getting into filmmaking and don't have a budget for it, starting a YouTube channel doing gear reviews is an easy way of doing that. Easy way of getting affiliate marketing to work for you, because obviously that's an easy layup. You're doing a review. Here's the review. Here's the link. And so, that is just an easy way of making money. Now, if you're not interested in doing gear reviews, which I still would recommend to play that YouTube game here and there, the thing about YouTube, and we can talk about YouTube strategy. I don't like talking about YouTube strategy a ton because I don't really consider myself a good YouTuber. And so, but that being said, I do think there's a place for gear reviews, even if your intention is filmmaking. It drives views, and ultimately views drives revenue, whether it is ad revenue with YouTube, or potentially revenue from affiliate links because people have come and watched your videos and bought the product that you're talking about. But let's say you don't want to do gear reviews. Let's say we talked to last couple of weeks about, my top filmmaking channels under 10,000 subscribers. And a lot of them weren't doing gear reviews. They were just putting out films. And even then you can do affiliate marketing, because if you notice in my, and I made a point to do this in my description, I have, this is the gear that I used for this stream. I have Pocket 6K. I have A10 Mini. I have my Sigma 18 to 35. I could have put the monitor on there. I could have put the lav mic on there. You can basically make it to where like everything that I used in this film, this is almost like crediting all the gear. This is everything I use in this film, or even assets. Maybe this is where I got the music from, or this is where I got the transition pack from, or whatever you're using that you can potentially monetize and turn into affiliate marketing. You can use that, and that you don't even have to do gear reviews for that. One thing I was talking about last week was the film that we checked out. Lawton Meyer was the filmmaker for that film, and I told you that he basically convinced me to buy Rokinon lenses. And honestly, I think he may have an affiliate link, and if he didn't, I don't remember. But if he had, that was probably one of the last films that I watched before I bought that Rokinon lens. And so he didn't have to review that lens. The imagery that he put together reviewed that lens for me. And so if I'm, on the fence of buying that lens, that's convincing me it's time to potentially buy it. And you have an easy kind of segue into that. I see Mark's comment, but you have an easy segue into that, basically saying, hey, this is the gear that I use for this film. And if you're interested in buying any of this gear, check it out. If you notice, my brother, the villain, it has affiliate links all over the place, because, that's how I make money on YouTube, is affiliate marketing. So I would encourage you, if you're a new filmmaker, someone that's looking into filmmaking and looking at building up a budget for your films, it may take a little bit of while. It may take some time to get that traction. It may take some time. I've been doing reviews for over 2 years. I think I'm going on 3 years at this point. And I have, videos from 2 or 3 years ago that are still making money because I'm using affiliate marketing. I may have to update the links every once in a while, which I don't ever do, which is probably why I'm also a bad YouTuber. But that can over time help build up a finance or the finances you may need. And it's not necessarily going to fund a feature film or maybe even your entire short film, but it could help with wardrobe, lighting, could help with rental. Something I'm going to talk about in the next few weeks is cinema lenses. I just got, fingers crossed, I'll be hopefully working with Tokina here in a minute to test out some of their lenses. I work all the time with Sigma, and we'll talk about some of their cine lenses here soon. And I don't expect anybody to buy those, but I could talk about them in the realm of, if you're really looking at like a high-end project, go rent them. And most likely rental houses have an affiliate links and affiliate marketing. So, and so it's a whole ecosystem there. You've made money off of your affiliate links, which you can now go and afford those cine lenses that you've been looking at And you can in turn, make your film, put in your affiliate marketing for the rental house, or even if you want to buy. It's a whole ecosystem of just making money through the platform, and giving you a little bit of a budget for your film. The film I'm working on now, I haven't spent any money out of pocket really. I have a couple of wardrobe items that I bought, and I used some money that I got from Amazon to pay for it. If I want to test out a lens, if I want to get a high-end lens, I'm going to use my affiliate money for that. I have a YouTube budget for my productions, and it's like a small business. So, and with that comes taxes and things like that. And I'm not a tax person, I'm not a finance person, so I really don't want to talk about that a ton. But I mean, at the turn, you can also, if you think about your YouTube channel as a business, there are incentives like tax write-offs and things like that. So again, I'm not going to consult on that because I'm not a tax person. Hell, I don't even do our taxes. My lovely wife does our taxes. So we got a couple of things. Chris says, I love affiliate links. Every once in a while, I get paid from Amazon and TubeBuddy, and it's like Christmas. Dude, I remember the one time, it took me forever to sell my Laowa 7.5 T2.1 because it was the lens that I could pay for without saving up, from one Amazon check. So I think last year, the biggest Amazon check I got was like $400 to $500. And that was for like a month of affiliate links. And so I was particularly proud of that lens. I ended up selling it, and it hurt a little bit because I was trying to get my Sigma Cines. But yeah, it is like Christmas. It's gotten to the point, it's kind of nice where I can probably bank on getting no less than like $200 a month from Amazon. You do have to be careful. You do have to, if you get over a certain amount, you do have to claim on your taxes. But it's a nice little passive income. I review tools and materials. I get swag and money from companies whose tools and materials I use. We're gonna get to that here in a minute. That is a big thing. Now the sponsors are approaching me. Hell yes. How many subscribers do you have? If you don't, I haven't. It's been a while since I've been on the channel. I don't know where you're at right now, but that's awesome. That's awesome. I was aggressive last year in approaching companies, and I've gotten less aggressive because I kind of want to get away from just doing pure reviews. I want to do more creative stuff and double down in the Blackmagic ecosystem and or the Sigma FP camera and stuff like that. So I'm doing less just like random gear reviews. But last year I hunted down companies, and that could be a whole other stream topic, is how to get companies to work with you. If you're like me, you just nag them a bunch. That stream could take 2 seconds because you just nag them a lot. Mark says, did I drop in on a rant? No, we actually have a dedicated topic this week. It's how to make money on YouTube / how to have YouTube fund your films. Construction or Chris says, I am just under 5K and starting to rock and roll. Hell yeah, dude. I honestly thought that more companies were going to approach me as I hit 5K, and it's actually probably like dulled down a little bit. I get more like random Amazon influencers or like Instagram influencers being like, do you want to test my products on Amazon? I'm like, no, I'm good. I have gotten to the point where I feel like I can pick and choose. And it's just like, yeah, I don't really want to try your product. I had somebody reach out to me for like a USB mic, and I was just like, those get no views. And that seems like a terrible product. I'm not testing that. Sorry. Although you do get something like Fifine every once in a while, and me and Mark love that Fifine mic. Maybe I should dig into the legal side of YouTube. I may be able to help you save on taxes if my thought process is accurate. You went for something else there, but yeah, accurate. Yeah, I'm down. I mean, honestly, I don't think Amazon, like, it was too much, like I actually made more money in like a tax return off of tax write-offs than I did because I bought a ton of gear last year. And basically all the gear that I use for the channel, I use as a tax write-off. You have to be careful with that. And again, I'm not consulting, but you can, I'm not consulting, but yes. And Chris says, even with a low sub count, my CPM is at $16. That is amazing. Amazing. So absolutely. And that's the beauty of it too, right? So like I mentioned that like it takes an investment, and the investment is not a subscriber count. So let's be clear on that. I was making money on YouTube when I had under 1,000 subscribers. And we'll get to some of the other things that can help fund your films that's not monetarily here in a minute. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you could, because like depending on what you review, you could have a higher CPM. I don't know what the actual CPM stands for, but you could have a higher kind of worth on what you're having people buy versus I think that's like the cut that you get. I don't remember. I'm also really bad at affiliate marketing sometimes because I'm like, I have to go look every once in a while, like what's my high, like I talked to Joe of at Driven Films. He's like, oh, this is my highest selling product on Amazon. I'm like, what's mine? And so I like getting the paychecks and then paying the taxes, of course. He says, oh yeah, I've been getting emails and stuff from all the, all kinds of crappy companies, but I too refuse them. I'm working on deals with some crazy companies I never would thought of at first. And the average CPM is $3. That's amazing. So hell yeah, dude. Oh, sorry. Let me actually bring that one up. Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. I need to actually make sure I stay in my focal point here. Well, with that, let's talk about the other thing, which I don't know which we should talk about first now, because that it clearly, like working with brands is something I want to talk about, but we'll go with this one first. Let's talk about free gear. All right, so free gear, and I need to work on these transitions. I don't think StreamYard has like a good, I pressed the wrong button. Has a good transitions kind of integration, but that being said, free gear. So another way that, and Chris can attest to this as working with companies and getting some gear and using it. Some of the other guys that are part of the community, Leo, I think has said that he gets some models that he builds, through with companies. But getting free gear can also help fund your film. And I don't want to say like, what do I mean by that? Because it's pretty self-explanatory. But like, let's look at this, for example. This light. I have not paid for a single light that I use for my productions. Other than like these shelf lights, those were $15 a pop. I bought those out of pocket. I bought some like LED lights from Newer, like 3 years ago, something like that. Small little, I think literally those are the only lights I've purchased, because normally what happens is goes back to like, if you do reviews, companies will oftentimes work with you to review their gear. And if it's, some companies will work with you to review their gear and let you keep the gear. That's not everybody. But there are a lot of companies that will say, cool, if you review this gear, we'll let you have it. I just got done working with Anton Bauer. I've worked as kind of like an ambassador role for them for the past couple months, and testing out their Titan base kit, $300 battery solution. I did not pay for that. And I said that in my review. I didn't pay for this. They sent it to me. And the contract for that review was if I reviewed it and answered questions and was kind of a resource for that battery and everything, that I was able to keep it. Now, if you start getting bigger and you start getting more clout, I would definitely push back in those scenarios and try to push for a monetary, like an actual monetary compensation in those scenarios. But honestly, like that is a battery solution I used on a shoot this past weekend with the Pocket 6K that I didn't need to pack NPF batteries. I didn't need to pack a whole bunch of LPE6 batteries. I did because that's just what you do. But I didn't have to buy that. because they offered it to me to review and to, kind of answer questions, and post on social media, stuff like that, of like different rig setups. But that's easily $300, right? 7 Artisans lenses. I review a bunch of those. I haven't paid for a single one, because they send them to me, and I love working with them because they send them to me and let me keep them. And I use them in different productions. You guys love my channel. My number one search item on my channel is the 25 millimeter f1.8. So I'll probably do some work with that. So, just for the algorithms. But that's something that was sent to me. Again, this light is I think the light itself, not, I did buy the C stand. I needed to invest in a good C stand. But the light itself, I think, is like $400. I paid $30 for the light dome. But the light was free, because I reviewed it for a company. I'm trying to think of some other things here. I'm trying to think off the top of my head, and it's not working. The monitor, field wheel monitor, great monitor. I used it on a shoot this past weekend. I love this monitor. Free. It's a $200, maybe $300 monitor, free, because I did a review on it. I think you get my point at this. With this, you may not have, YouTube may not make you a monetary compensation that you're looking for some of these projects, but something that can compensate that lack of monetary compensation is free gear. One thing that I talked with Joe from Driven Films is he was like, that was one reason I thought about getting into YouTube, is if I did reviews, like I could potentially get free gear. Yeah, absolutely. Now, is that the only reason you should? No. Because what happens with that is, if you do reviews, you're not getting gear, maybe you're not getting traction, you get burnout, you stop. So it shouldn't be the only reason, but it can help. Let me kind of stop here and say, so why am I saying all of this? And we have another point to talk about here, but why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this is because, the filmmaking community, there's an aspect to it. Like if you go on like a Blackmagic forum, or a camera, in a company forum, and you are a YouTuber, it's almost like you're the black sheep. No, honestly, what I love about YouTube is it gives you a liberation. You can have a channel, do reviews, talk about what you love, make you some passive income. And as a filmmaker, you can put your work on here. You can, showcase your work and let people see it. And in turn, if you do stuff like affiliate marketing, or maybe you do a couple reviews here and there, maybe you can get a monetary compensation, or maybe you can get gear, so that can, in a way, fund your project. Again, like looking at My Brother the Villain. This is my key light for My Brother the Villain. I didn't pay for this. And so things that you maybe couldn't afford, you can. Actually, I don't know why. The biggest thing is the Crane 2S. I didn't pay for that. It's a $600 gimbal. I didn't pay for that because I did a review. And the company I didn't go straight through Zhiyun, but I worked with a third-party company that needed a review for it. And so you can, and honestly, that's depending on how you shoot. I don't use gimbals all that much, but depending on how you shoot, like that could be a huge tool. That can help you out. If you need a gimbal for your project and you don't want to drop $700, if you position yourself correctly and put in the work, you never know. Maybe that's something that could be sent to you. And again, I don't want you to go into YouTube and be like, let's do this for the free products, but like everybody has a goal for it. Mine personally is I love filmmaking and I love the medium of film. And this is a place for me to showcase my work, but at the same time, it gains me passive income and a creative outlet. So there's a bunch of chats. Let me get back to the chat and we'll get to the last point. Actually, let me get to Chris first. If you're providing value to people, I guess that's what pays. Sure, absolutely, absolutely. Honestly, like, if you're, again, we can have a whole nother video on YouTube strategy, but like, make evergreen content, make content that will help benefit people, and you'll gain traction. Mark says, yes, tell Sony to sponsor me and send me the A7S III. Mark I think you rented the A7S III, and he's super pumped on it. He's been dropping some screenshots in the Discord, and I secretly hate him for it. So I do judge you ever so slightly because you didn't rent the FX3, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Because we know of filmmakers, the FX3 is the way to go. Snub the A7S III. The biggest, I have feelings. No more rants. No more rants. Me too, Mark. Oh man, I didn't even do film gear reviews, and Nanlite sent me lights. Really? That's hilarious, dude. That's amazing. I wish Nanlite would give me some lights. That'd be dope. Chris also says, just because I attended a video gear conference through Vistech and can't remember the exact name, but I totally recommend you guys go to them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Dan says, a lot of smaller companies are seeking reviews. A lot of smaller companies that are seeking reviews are product rich, but cash poor. A great way to partner up. Seriously, again, we could have a whole nother video on YouTube strategy. When you're the size of a channel like myself or Chris, or even some smaller channels, some of these companies will reach out to you because they can't afford, they don't have a big enough marketing budget to go with some of the bigger YouTubers. They don't have, the budget to go with like a 50,000 subscriber channel or 100,000 or million subscriber channel. So they'll reach out to smaller channels and potentially work with you. I mean, Tokina has been, I haven't yet worked with them. I still have to sign some paperwork. But just in the communication I've had with them, they've been really cool about like, cool, you want to talk about our products? Awesome. We love that. And, some companies will either A, not answer your emails, or B, just be like, you're small fish, and not work with you. But there are some companies that will work with you. Say what you guys will about Sigma. And actually, so let's talk about this. This is the last point. Actually, let me do some chats. We'll come back to Dan. I'm gonna come back to Dan. Chris says, nice. The important thing is to always, oh God, I lost your comment. No. The important thing is to always know it's not to jump on every deal, be selective. Absolutely. You can get exhausted. I have been exhausted. Even working with Sigma, I just sent back like 6 Sigma boxes. And I was just like, just because I love their products, but like, it was too much. And so I think some things I reviewed, some things I didn't. And I was just like, hey, this is how I feel about this thing. Let me just tell you directly. And they're pretty chill about it. I can't remember. Are you in Canada? No, I'm in North Carolina, in the States. Mark says, can I just say, I'm sure many others as well, really appreciate the transparency and insight. Yeah, I love it. And that's honestly, I wish more people did that. And I think more people are trying to, because like, you have and I don't want to dog on like big channels, but you have big channels and some people just aren't up to sharing their secrets or what have you. Like, no, you guys know that we're a community. I want you guys to succeed just as much as I do. I want to be jealous if you pass me in subscribers, because you most likely will, even if you start today. So, it's one of those things that like, make everybody's life better and we'll have a fun time. Andy says, sorry, I'm late driving home right now. Never late, always on time. And yes, I fell in love with the A7S III, however, grudgingly. Dude, I feel like I'm about to do that with the Tokinas. I literally just dropped serious cash on the Sigma Cines, and I'm about to review the Tokinas, and everybody I've talked to is like, you're going to love these lenses. I'm like, please don't let me love these lenses. Chris says, I went pocket 4K over the A7 III and don't regret it. No, I don't regret it either. I sold my A7 III for the GH5 and then went to the pocket 4K. So a little bit different experience, but same results. unless you like autofocus. Truth. Honestly, the Sigma FP has pretty decent like single shot autofocus right now, and I'm like, I kind of like autofocus, but I'm not ready to go full on. Sigma has some good glass. Absolutely, I love Sigma glass, and we're gonna get to them again in a minute because that's my last point. I'm using Sigma 35 with the A7S III, and it's better than the EF version. Is it the new the one I just put out like a couple weeks ago, the new DGDN one? Let me know. I'm gonna butcher this name. I'm sorry. Shrikara. Oh God, I definitely am gonna butcher that name. Shrikara Bot. Very sorry about that. BMPCC 4K. Thumbs up. Absolutely. I'll probably be using that for the Tokina reviews because they didn't have the PL versions in stock, and so I'm going to get the EF versions. And Chris says, I'm in Edmonton from Toronto. We need to work together one day. Absolutely. Edmonton is the home of many professional wrestlers, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I know that city very well. Nerd out moment. Wait till you come over to NC. You can see the AF on the R6 and the A7S III. Whichever I have when I make the trip. You know, when are you making this trip? We've been talking about this forever. You need to make it. You need to make it. All right, let's get to the last point. Last point, and you maybe have already figured this out, but is gear loaner programs. Let me specify. I said I was going to do like loaner programs or like I don't know what my original title was. Let's just roll it. It was loan programs. Loan programs was what I was going to do. And I was like, no, wait, these companies aren't like loaning you money. So gear loan programs, loaner programs. There are a lot of, going back to companies. All right. So like, this is kind of like working with brands. Because companies will often, like especially if you establish yourself as a gear review channel, or even just like a respectable like filmmaking channel on YouTube. I don't know if like you're just doing films on YouTube, but if you are doing like reviews and maybe put out films, there are quite a bit of companies that will work with you to let you just test out their lenses. Sigma, you guys know from all the damn Sigma reviews I've done that I work with Sigma almost exclusively at sometimes. And they're really chill about loaning stuff. Now, I can't promise everyone to go. I'm not going to say like everyone start your channel and go flood Sigma's like email inbox, but like build your repertoire, build your stuff, and reach out to brands. It may not be Sigma. Maybe you don't like Sigma lenses. Fine, F you. But no, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, find a brand that you like and try to work with them. Now, I would obviously say like, don't like necessarily shoot for the stars in that sense. I don't want to be negative, but like, don't go looking at like Ari or like Red or places like that. Although Emily Sky, one of the filmmaking channels we talked about a couple of weeks ago, is working with Red, but she's more working with Red because she's putting out films and has a pretty decent like repertoire of films that she's doing. Working on I think she's putting on a new feature this summer, which I'm pumped on. But like, sure, you probably could work with Red. Don't ever try to work with Blackmagic. I feel like Blackmagic does only works with like big companies or big channels. But you know the levels you're working with. Don't also think that is based on subscriber count. One thing I love about Sigma, and Sigma has a soft spot in my heart because they started working with me when I think I was at like 700, maybe 800 subscribers, like under 1,000 subscribers. And I reached out, I can't remember at this point who I reached out to. The people have changed around a bunch over the years. But I think I just put out a random email and I was like, hey, I'm a YouTube channel, review gear, love your lenses. Can I test out some stuff? And I think I may have maybe sent like 2. I may have done like a follow-up. And finally, the person that was working with me was like, yeah, honestly, we don't work with smaller channels all that much, but we like your content. And we like what you do. So let's talk about it. I think they sent me actually the ones I just reviewed. They sent me the crop sensor lenses that I just put on the channel on Tuesday for the OG pocket camera, but that was back when I had the GH5. Okay, so how does that play into your films? Okay, now let's say this, and actually this is a true story. So I'm working on a short film right now. I don't know how short it's going to be. It's still kind of like getting some kinks worked out, but I'm working on a short film, and I primarily shot it all with Sigma Cine lenses. Now I own, and Sigma Cine primes. I'll be more specific on that. I own the 35. I own the 35 prime, but I've had a pretty decent relationship. I would say a pretty good relationship with Sigma over the years, and finally got approved to go look at their cinema glass. And so they sent me the 24 and the 50. And I will be reviewing those, but I'm going to wait for the film to drop to review those. Those are lenses, and this is, I'm going to say in my review, those are lenses that were used in Top Gun. Like, if you're not familiar with Top Gun, let me tell you about the 80s, 90s, whatever. But the new Top Gun that's coming out, they use Sigma Cine glass. And so I'm using glass that was used in a feature film because I have a YouTube channel and I built a reputation and a relationship with a brand. So dope, right? And I'm able, and a lot of times too, what's really nice is if you work with those brands, they may offer you like a media discount. I can't guarantee everybody will do it. So again, it's kind of like the taxes, don't hold me to it. Sorry, I'm gonna get Mark's coming out of here. But sometimes, if you do good work, if you do reviews, they may offer you a little bump in a discount. I mean, that's how I've been very transparent. That's the only reason I've been able to afford my Sigma Cine glass. The 18 to 35, the 50 to 100 were discounted. They were the refurbished versions, and they discounted the refurbished versions. And again, transparency. But not only do some brands loan you products or give you products, like we said in the last point, but they also, may give you a media discount or something like that. Again, not every brand will offer it. A lot of times, if I work with a brand, I will probably send an email of like, hey, I really like this product. Do you have a media discount or something like that? And so going back to the Sigma Cines, I'm able to shoot this short film on Sigma Cine primes without renting the gear. So I'm not spending money on rentals. I'm using one that I own, sure, but I'm using two that I don't own, again, because I have a channel, I do reviews, and I've built a relationship with this brand. And so what does that mean for you as a filmmaker? Well, again, all of these points are, if you put in the work, YouTube can be beneficial to you as a filmmaker, because you could potentially, let's say you're working on a project and you want some good cinema glass, but you don't have the money to rent it, you don't have the money to buy it. Well, if you've built a relationship or at least a respectable YouTube channel, you could potentially talk to some of those brands and say, hey, I really like to test out your lenses. I haven't worked with Tokina before, but because I have a channel, a good repertoire, I don't want to keep on saying repertoire, a good library of reviews, and they can see that as reference. They may give me stipulations, but they may work with me. Maybe I don't have a project in mind. I'm probably going to make a project to work with it. But let's say I did have a project I was working on and I knew I was looking for a certain look, and I know I'm working with this brand, like, hey, I'm working on this project. I know we've worked together before. Would you be willing to let me test these out for this project and do a review in exchange? Maybe give you the right. I do offer the rights to the footage that I use with those products, so they can use it for their social media and stuff like that. But you get to use gear that you wouldn't normally use, again, if you've built up your channel, if you've built up your reputation, if you've built up that relationship there. And so gear loaner programs is absolutely a way to have YouTube and what you do on YouTube fund your films, because again, maybe it's gear that you wouldn't normally use because you can't afford it or you don't have the budget for it. And so as an indie filmmaker, establishing a YouTube channel, building up a YouTube channel is a long-term game to potentially finance some of your projects. I'm able to make films I want to make at a pace that I want to make them. I'm not, like, I'm sure I could probably go out and like do the pitch, like try to get funding and all of that. But like, I know I'm working with a certain dollar amount, a certain budget, and that's my YouTube budget. And I have the freedom to go make whatever I want at this point. Now barring like needing to get talent and stuff like that, or maybe like some more like, like lighting or things like that. But I'm in a place where I can potentially make some films and some decent films with this gear, because I built up this channel. So gear loaner programs is the last thing. Let me get to some of these chats here. Andy says, right now I'm into the Sigma 56 1.4. Great one. That honestly, I loved it. That was probably, out of the 3 lenses that I put in the video this past Tuesday, was maybe my favorite. That between that and the 16, I can't remember. I can remember, but it was a toss up. I was thinking for the Lumix 45 f1.7, for the dual IS with my camera, still not sure. I like Lumix glass. It's pretty good. I mean, I'm really interested to see what they're doing with their zoom that's coming out. That's an f1.7. I'm like, is that going to be an 1835 killer? So we'll see. Good lenses though. Both of those are good options. Chris says, Mark, have you compared that on a Blackmagic camera or just Canon? 35 is original DG, not the new one. Gotcha. I'm not lucky enough to have used BMPCC. I've only strictly used Canon in a decade or anything. So we got a couple of conversations going on here. Speed booster. I have a Metabone speed booster on my 4K, and the 1835 is my go-to lens. 1835 is my go-to lens even without a speed booster. So I'm right there with you. Absolutely. I came from Canon platform. Blackmagic will always buy. I will always buy EF, and I am hopeful. Sorry, wait, what? Came from Canon platform 2 to Blackmagic. Sorry, I will always buy EF because I am hopeful. Truth. Oh, you're talking about the Prime. I don't have experience with that. Yeah, the Prime is dope. The Primes are dope. Oh God, no, StreamYard, take me back. All right, Mark says, better buy up those EF lenses. They're being discontinued left and right because Canon is retiring the EF mount in favor of the RF. Yeah, so they are. Yeah, I've seen that too. Reports of them retiring the EF, which is great for Blackmagic users because then Blackmagic's maybe not going to put an EF mount on their cameras anymore. I like EF mounts, but I like mirrorless mounts better. And I'm going to have a divisive crowd on that, but I'm more for mirrorless mounts. It's really hard to, you can use EF glass on mirrorless. I know that, but yeah. It's really hard to grow a YouTube channel. I make videos in Spanish because I'm from Honduras, but it's really hard, honestly. And I put a lot into my content. Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I don't want to say any of these points to say, hey, it's easy, make content, you can make anything work and you can make money like really easy. No, let's be clear. Making money, working with brands, getting free gear is not easy. It is something that you could do. It is attainable. It is probably maybe a little bit more attainable than like just doing all this stuff out of pocket, maybe, but it is not easy. Again, look at my experience. Like I've been on this platform since late 2017, and I'm just now hitting close to 6,000 subscribers, and just now like making $2,000 a year. Like $2,000 a year, like at my day job, like laughable. Like, and I don't want to say that from like, look at me. Like, no, it's a very, very passive income. Like it's just enough to do certain things. It's not easy. This is coming from a place of, if you're looking at ways to make passive income for your filmmaking, or a way to make some extra money for your films, is possibly a way to do it. So Not easy, but possibly a way to do it. It's almost like, work a day job to pay the bills and do the fun stuff on the side. It's kind of like what YouTube is. Like, you got to do some things every once in a while to pay the bills and get the money and maybe make some films every once in a while. And maybe you're not into that. Maybe you want to make just films, and by all means do that. But then that goes back to like, maybe throw some stuff in there, like affiliate links in your films. Make something, like, yeah, you may not make a ton of money, but you could potentially make something, because let's say you make $50 one month. Well, okay, that could be some wardrobe. So, I mean, like, I think the film I'm working on, my wardrobe was like a button-down shirt, maybe some white t-shirts, I'm going to give away some things. What the hell did I buy? A sheer curtain, some paint. So I bought some paint. Everything else, lighting was all natural lighting. I did use the B7C, which I did pay for that. But I only use that because I was shooting raw. I could probably have dealt with the colors in post, but I wanted daylight in the scene. And one of my other key lights is like my TV. So, go with what you got. Sorry, not to bring it off on a tangent there. I've been using Rokinon primes and really like them for the money. Absolutely. Buy what you can. Rokinons are probably one of my favorite budget. There's SLR Magic as well. I like Rokinons. The only thing that bothers me about Rokinons is I was watching somebody's video and I was like, man, this has terrible chromatic aberration. And I'm not one of those people that like chromatic aberration is not a deal breaker, but like it just had a lot. And so that was the only thing for me. And I think sometimes like when I use Rokinons, it seemed washed out when you were in like F1 or T1.5 and stuff like that. And so, and that may be the characteristic you like. And by all means, like that's what lenses are great about, is like, these lenses can do what you want and have the characteristics you want. It doesn't really matter how much you spend on it. So Mark says, I think, and this is mostly due to rumors and roadmap Canon put out, the 1DX Mark III was the last DSLR Canon will release, probably. YouTube is hard, no doubt. Quippy, morning from Kuala Lumpur. Did I say that right? Hey, Anson and everyone. What's up, Quippy? You need to go do your stream and I'll join. You have been killing the streams lately. Mark says, hey, Quippy. Hey, Mark. Chris says, I went from the 5D Mark II 35mm to BMPCC 4K with a Metabones booster, Super 35. That, in my opinion, was the last good film cam Canon made, so I can see that. Yeah, I mean, I think Canon's pretty much done with it. Let's see, we got a couple more comments. Does the growth of the channel and viewership also matter to have constant trust of the brands you vouch to? Or could just a fan appreciation of their products and they continue backing you? Curious. I think it's a little bit of both. I think Sigma works with me in different ways than maybe if I were not as much of a fanboy that I am. I am unashamedly a Sigma fanboy. Like, I love Sigma lenses. I love the Sigma FP. Like, every time I pick up that camera, I'm like, God, why is this not my A cam? And so it is. I love their stuff. Now, because I do reviews for them, I'll be honest, my Sigma reviews never do well. My lens reviews never do well. My FP reviews do well. And if I'm using the lens on like a specific camera that has good like search results or SEO, that may do well. But otherwise, like I did the macro lens, no views. I did the 35mm, no views. Like those are all tanked. I still work with them because I just love working with them and I love their lenses. It's always a pleasure to work with their lenses. I do give some crap to the new DGDN lenses because I don't like the focus by wire. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I mean, great optics and everything. And so I think it's a little bit of both. I got to work with them on the firmware update. I had that was my first embargo kind of product to review. And I was actually told that they used it in some internal marketing stuff. And so I was like, damn, thanks. And so I think there's a little bit of that. I think the guy that I work with can tell that I'm loyal to the brand. And so, I think at one point I even asked them about ambassadorship, but I don't know if I would qualify for it. One, I'm too small, but also I do work with other companies. But I think so. I don't know if you could go off of just fandom about it, but you do need to have a respectable channel. You do need to have good content. Again, the only reason they worked with me when they did is because I had crafted my reviews to be good quality productions. And I look back at them now and I'm like, that's funny. But I put a lot of time and effort into it. And I think they could see that and they're willing to work with me on that. But some companies like you saying, Rokinon, for example, Rokinon doesn't even have a loaner. Like last time I checked with them, it was like a year and a half ago. They don't really have a loaner program. But I was like, I'm a huge fan. I would love to test out your stuff. And they're just like, sorry, don't have a loaner program. And I was like, okay. I mean, I've worked with other companies where I'm like, I love your stuff. Would you please let me review it? No. Either I get no answer or just like, we're good. So it's a little bit of both. I would say it's probably more the built up channel or the the proof the proof is in the pudding that you can put stuff together and you can review and it'll get views. That's the biggest thing, is that it'll get views. I would say views are going to be more important than subscribers to those brands, because they don't care if you have like five subscribers. If you get like 10,000 views, 20,000 views, like that means people are seeing their product. So views are probably the biggest thing to them. I hope Sigma doesn't listen to this. As I just said, all my Sigma reviews tank, but but in relativity, maybe it doesn't, because maybe it's like 1,000 more views that they didn't have before. So interesting. I'm learning here. Cheers, guys. It takes years to build up a channel. It does. I mean, honestly, like I will say my second year being a review channel probably had the most traction, because I was probably the most aggressive. And I got a lot of like good budget gear to review. But yeah, when you start working with these bigger brands, like building up the reputation, it can take a while. I hear all the time of people being like, I've talked to this company so many different times and finally they said yes. It just takes consistency and persistence. So namaste from India. Keep inspiring. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you. I appreciate it. Quippy says, yeah, it literally, it really easy, at least for on YouTube. It definitely doesn't pay, but I guess for I do it to keep myself with something I love. Absolutely. Which is camera gear and stuff. Absolutely. Like, yeah, I mean, gearheads, people that have like gear acquisition syndrome or gas, as they call it, like YouTube's great for that. Also really bad for that, because you end up buying way too much. Chris says, with Rokinons, you need a lot of distance. That was the only thing I didn't like about the 85, is like, damn, I had to be like entirely across the room. The one thing I did do with the 85 was I did end up putting macro tubes on it. When I did need to get a closer up shot, that helped. Not for like, I wouldn't use that in like a normal production, but like if you need a product shot, have that compression and that close minimum focusing distance, macro tubes. All right, so I got another one. When you script your film, do you start with writing it, keeping all your limitations and possible resources in your mind, or you just write without filtering out your creativity and figure out the other stuff later? I absolutely right within my limitations. One of my favorite films is Jaws. Actually, all-time favorite film, Jaws. And as a filmmaker, one reason why it's still my favorite film is the way that Spielberg directed that film was understanding limitations. He knew, and I've seen in interviews or things that he said about the film, he knew, and the way he worked that film is he didn't show the shark all that much. Like, he showed the shark, or Bruce, as his name is, effectively, but he didn't outright. It's not like if you watch like Deep Blue Sea and stuff like that, where they have, like, obviously those are CGI sharks, but they're like all over the place. No, he created suspense through this like illusion that there's a shark there and gave you just enough to be scared and to hold your imagination. And that is what I take. And whenever I create a film, that's how I kind of approach it with, what can I do that will look good with what limitations I have and will hold your imagination with what limitations I have. I'm not trying to do something I can't pull off. I talked with my nephew. God, this is probably a conversation I had like a year or two ago. He was trying to do a music film at the time, or a music video at the time. And he was like, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. I was like, no, because if we're going to try to pull that off, it's going to look real bad. And I'd rather work with XYZ to pull this off the way that would make it look good and keep the story going and not distract from the story. And so, perfect example is this short film I'm working on. I'm hyping up this film. It might not even be good. We'll see. But I worked with my lighting is, for the most part, natural lighting, other than the B7C that I used in one of the shots. But like there's like a scene in a shower that's literally using the shower light that we have. There's a scene in front of a TV, and the light is my big ass TV just put on like, I use like a static, just a looped static video. But like, I want to work with imagery that you're not going to be pulled away from the story because I didn't know how to pull it off. So I would say I absolutely write my films knowing my limitations and work within those limitations to make it better. So, sorry, long-winded answer, but if you guys are curious, Jaws is my favorite film for many reasons. One, when I was a kid, I was terrified of it. So now I have like this weird, like, emotional tie into that movie, because now I'm just like, I love this movie because it scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. But now as a filmmaker, I'm like, I love this movie even more because of how Spielberg put it together. So hashtag Sigma fanboy right here. Absolutely. Sigma fanboy. Views and comments definitely drive those brands want to work with you and engagement overall. Quippy said, isn't easy. I think it was going back to his previous. Consistency and persistence, golden words, bro. Absolutely. Consistency and persistence. Working with brands, consistency and persistence. Persistence is probably the bigger one there when you're working with brands. Andy says, okay, sort of a huge question. Sigma 1835 or 24 to 70 f2. Is there 24 to 70 f2? Or is that the f2.8? Honestly, it depends on what you're shooting with. I love my 24 to 70 2.8, but I also love the 1835. The thing I do love about the 24 to 70 is its full frame. So, oh yeah, 2.8 with stabilization. Gotcha. I can't remember, what camera are you on? I want to say you're on the FP, maybe no, Pocket. I can't remember, Andy. I'm sorry. Both of them are great. I like the range of the 24 to 70, but obviously the 18 to 35, super high speed zoom. You really, it's an amazing lens. But I would say, like, it depends on what lenses you have, right? So like if you don't have a ton of lenses, I'll go the 24 to 70 because you have a wide range there, especially if you're working full frame, because then you have a great range. But if you have some other like medium telephoto to telephoto lenses, then the 1835, because It's just an amazing lens. Sweet thanks. Yes, I need a product. I need product shots. I need it for product shots. Yes, absolutely use macro tubes. Jaws is a masterpiece. Hell yes. Hell yes. I am not a tank top person. Almost bought a Jaws tank top because I was like, I just got to rep it. Chris says, I need to pick your brain more on the macro tube thing. Did you link in your Discord? I will now. I had it before. I put it up there like an hour ago. But let me put it up there now. So shameless plug, if it's not really shameless, everybody knows I'm probably going to plug the Discord. But if you have not joined the Instant Code Discord, join the Instant Code Discord, because honestly, at this point, like, people, I think, will come on and like Instagram and ask me questions. I pretty much only answer questions on the Discord now. So come join the Discord. The link is now in the chat. Come join. Yes, ask me, DM me directly on the Discord. We'll talk about it. I'm down. Or hit me on Instagram. I'll do either. It might just take me longer to get to Instagram. Would like to watch more of your narrative short films going forward. All the very best. Thank you. I really want to do more. The problem is it just takes forever to do. I literally sent back the Sigma Cinis. It's a funny story. I sent back the Sigma Cinis and they sent them back. I don't know what happened with UPS. They were just like, here's the lenses back. I had to email Sigma. I was like, guys, I'm not trying to keep these lenses. They just got sent back to me. So I sent them back again today. But I've sent them back, and I'm probably not going to finish this film for another couple weeks. I think I've said this before. I want to try to time it correctly with the Top Gun release, because I think the review will probably get more traction if I'm able to use Top Gun in like the title and all of that, because it's dope. They were used on Top Gun. And so, yeah, I might time it right, but I definitely want to put out the film before that. I may end up putting out the Tokina film before that too. So we'll see. Quippy says, yep, I do like the, that not show all things too. It really builds the hype instead of showing all. I love the Spielberg classic scene in Jurassic Park, where the water ripples in the glass. Yeah, absolutely. That's where you like have, you cater to like I think they're called like intelligent viewers, like the people that can piece these things together. You don't have to say, oh, that's a T-Rex, walking, and the water droplets is going. No, it's that perception, and honestly, your imagination could probably do way more than VFX. I'm just saying, if you're like me and you like hate horror films because your imagination is probably anything worse than like what they put on the screen because they couldn't pull it off in VFX. Yes, your imagination can run wild when they give you the perception of what's there rather than actually what's there. I'll trade you for knowledge. I'll teach you how to stream in 1080 60 FPS. Please do. Give me your knowledge on that. I would love it. Mark says, who knows, maybe I'll start being consistent with making YouTube videos soon, or maybe I'll stay persistently consistent and not making YouTube videos. That is brilliant. Mark, you never disappoint. I'm Films. Hey, Anson, which is better for you? The Panasonic Leica 10-25, the Sigma 18-35 on GH5 for photos and video. Thanks for all. I personally have never used the 10-25. No, I've never used the 10-25. Good glass. I like the Panasonic Leica partnership glass. So good glass. Sigma 18-35. I mean, that's a staple for the GH5, but depending on who you talk to, it's like a staple and all the wrong reasons and what have you. But I do have personal experience with 18-35, and I love it. I can't speak to the Leica. I do know that Leica puts out good glass, so I don't think you go wrong either way. I would look at stuff like, what are you filming or photographing? Maybe which one has better autofocus. If it's, the 18-35 is going to be adapted, so maybe it has slower autofocus than the Leica because it may be native. Look at stuff like, do you have flaring? Do you have focus breathing? Do you, if you manual focus, is the focusing experience terrible? Those are things I would look for, and you can you can find that stuff out without having like a direct comparison. Just go like view a couple different reviews of the 10 to 25 and then a couple of different reviews of the Sigma 18 to 35. I would look at those. Though I will look, I mean, like I said, both should be pretty decent glass. I know the 1835 is a really good glass, but it just comes down to like different characteristics you're looking for and what you're photographing and filming. I hope that was a good enough answer on that one. Andy says, OMG, artificial intelligence to that movie, to me, is one of the best Spielberg movies. You know, when that first came out, I hated that film. I walked out on that film. I haven't really watched it since, but I feel like me now would appreciate it. So I need to go watch that again. Because I think in theory, that movie was amazing, like really good as far as concept and delivery. I think at the time I was in a weird place in life, and I think we were with girlfriends that really weren't like into it, and they were just like, "Can we go?" And I was like, "I'm not really into it, so that's fine." So I think, yeah, it was weird. That was literally like the only movie I've ever walked out on. So I'm usually pretty chill about movies. For whatever reason, we walked out of that one. All right. I will tell you, I have had zero of this blackened whiskey. If you're just now joining the stream, the whiskey we're trying tonight is the blackened whiskey from, not from Metallica, but it's the one that Metallica branded, worked with. So yeah, blackened. It's pretty good. Like I said, not a cheap bottle, but got a nice little kick to it. All right, so again, apart from usability, what's the difference between sorry, I just saw Andy's comment. Sorry, that was the chuckle score. Apart from usability, what's the difference between the Sigma 1835 Cine and normal lens? Can you get the same visual quality of Sigma Cine with the normal Sigma? 100%. Optically, I think Sigma might say something different. Optically, they're virtually the same, if not the same. What you're paying for with the Cine is the rehousing, or basically the housing. I think there's a longer focus throw. I want to say with the Cines, there's 180 degrees. And I think with a photo, it's like 130, or, you know, not crazy big difference. You obviously with the Cines have aperture and zoom control on the gears, which is nice because I had my photo version adapted using, I had a Nikon version. So, or if you even using the Canon version, you have to use a speed booster because it's done electronically. Whereas with the Cine version, obviously you have the aperture ring. Otherwise, I mean, nice little feature. I don't think it's in every one of them. I know the PL ones. Well, that first of all, if you're ever looking at PL, the only way you're going to get it, unless you do some weird adapting, not necessarily weird adapting, but some adapting. Unless you do some adapting, you can't really use PL with the photo version. So if you ever get into PL, you'll have to move to a Cine version. It doesn't have to be the Sigma, you know, like branded one. You will spend more for that. But that's another big thing. And then, you know, mine, the PLs, I think some of the EF and who else what other mount do they make? I think they make the E mount in Cine. But they come with illuminated text. So like if you're on set, I was doing a shoot this past week and was outside, walked inside, and you can see like the 1835 illuminated, and like my focus points or my focus measurements illuminated and stuff like that. So that's nice. So it's really all like quality housing. They've made all of them 82 millimeter filter thread, so you don't have to worry about step up rings. God bless. It's like one that honestly, I'll pay that much not to ever worry about step up rings again. So it's really getting these lenses cinema and film ready. So that's what you're paying for. Now, if you want that, do you have to pay 1835 new Cine is, I think it's 4,000. Do you have to do that? Not necessarily. Like Cinematics, there's a company called Cinematics that basically can take a photo version of the 1835 and rehouse it. honestly, I think that's one reason Sigma put out their cines, is because they saw that these third-party companies were rehousing them and decided to make their own. Now I made it maybe more premium, depending on who you talk to, because the Sigma cines don't have, they're not parfocal, whereas the Cinematics does claim to be parfocal. But they basically just did it all in-house. So it's it really is optically very similar, but you do get a lot of the housing. You get a lot of the housing, and honestly, like, that could be good, that could be bad. I'm on the fence of whether they hindered me on this shoot this past weekend, because that long focus throw may have been a hindrance for me when I'm doing more run and gun stuff, because that shorter focus throw with the photo version would have been better in certain scenarios. Now, I like the longer focus throw even in that scenario, because I can get more precise focusing. Sorry, my dog wants in. Let me try to get my wife to put him up. But that being said, you can sorry. So depending on what you're shooting, the cine may be better, the cine may be worse. So optically, though, they should be very similar. So again, long answer, but yeah. So going back to my chuckle, you walked out? Heartbreaking. Yeah, I was young and dumb. Like, that's all I can say about that. Chris, how about the parfocal hack for the 1835 Gerald Undone? Have you seen that? Yeah, well, I think that's going through like the speed booster, and like having the glass on the speed booster like rotated a little bit to get it parfocal. Obviously, I can't try that with the PLs because I don't use speed boosters with the PLs. But with the EF, or I gotta remember what other mount it comes in, but I'm sure you could probably do that. But I have seen that. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Honestly, I used to like diss on people that are like parfocal. No, like literally, like this shoot this past weekend was like, oh, that would really help to been parfocal. All right. Which one do you prefer for a good sweet footage? Sigma or plus BPM, or just shoot? Sigma plus BPM, or just shoot and handle it in post? Good sweet footage. I'm slightly confused by this question. Which one do you prefer for a good sweet footage? Sigma plus BPM, or just handle it in post? I think to get I don't really know how to answer this question, but I do love my Sigmas and my no wait, what is happening? Oh, Black Pro Mist. I'm like BPM. So Black Magic is BMD, and so whenever I see those letters, I'm like BMD. That's where my brain goes. Black Pro Mist. I always like to do it in camera, but this film I'm working on, I actually did it in post, and it didn't look that bad. So either way, but I like doing everything I can in camera. Mark says, you should see me out with my 82mm VND on my RF35. The step ring makes absolutely comical, dude. I can only imagine. Imagine me using like 7 Artisans lenses on an 82mm VND or like a Black Pro Mist, like laughable, for real. I have gotten to where I'll use, instead of using like gradual step up rings, I'll find like one that's straight, like 49 to like 82. That way it's not gradual. It's not like big tunnel of like step up rings. So I'll spend a little bit more to get that. But you know, with my production gear right now, it's all the 82mm cities. And so I'll take that. Chris says, dude, I miss film work. I was always on set, never on cam, but right beside the AD every second. Did props, SFX, lights, and grip and art. Dude, I'm jealous. I wish I had that kind of experience. Yes, sorry. Yes, that was for the Metabone Speed Booster. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I didn't know you had that kind of experience in the industry. So we're gonna have to chat, talk about some experiences. I may have to bring you on. I want to bring on people to these things and be like, tell me your story. So we may have to make something happen. I think he means a Black Pro Mist, bud. Yeah, I know. I figured that out. Sigma plus Pro Mist. Yes. Everything. Yeah. If I can, I'll try doing camera. I think the thing that I'm working on with this film, it needed more diffusion. And so even beyond 1.4, I probably could have done like a 1.5 or even like what's the next, like 2 or 1. I don't know why I went with 2, but probably 1. But that's where I was able to put that extra diffusion in post. Since moving out west to Edmonton from Toronto, no film here, so I've been working construction, now building my own film studio here because it's all I want to do. Dude, I'm down for it. You've been talking about this studio for quite a while. I'm going to need a studio tour, and I'm going to need you to link it into the Discord and immediately let all of us watch it. I'm pretty pumped on this. Mark says it's 52 millimeter for the 35 millimeter, so you can imagine. Yes, I can absolutely imagine. I can see how that would be very comical. So, all right, you guys, I just looked at the clock. We've been streaming for like an hour and a half, and that is awesome. Usually around an hour, I'm like needing to stretch. Lights are dying probably around me. Nope, still on. But that's awesome. You guys, I love doing this every week. You guys, and this week is no different. So thank you guys for chatting. Like I said, let me, so wrapping up this whole conversation, if you're a filmmaker, you're looking at a passive income and you never thought about doing YouTube, it's maybe something to consider. There are reasons for looking into YouTube, for starting a channel. You have the knowledge, you have the information, share it with people, share your experience with gear on set. I mean, hell, when I started doing reviews, it was with gear I had and owned. If you're renting gear for a shoot, take a second, talk about it, put it on YouTube. People will come, they'll flock. Maybe not all at once, maybe not right away, but it's worth the investment. Because if you're an indie filmmaker, you're looking at a passive income to potentially help fund your projects, YouTube might be an option. So hopefully this information was helpful, and hopefully it gives you some last inspiration there. We got one more. Do you think the diffusion filters bloom too much? I've seen it take over a shot. Yes, I stopped using diffusion filters on my YouTube talking heads like this. It was too much. I was losing so many highlights. It can be. I think you need to figure out what you're filming and what aesthetic you're going for, and don't just throw on a black Pro Mist because it's what everybody does. And now I will say that to everything. Don't do something because everyone does it. Figure out why it's being done. And then if you have something that you don't want like diffused, if you don't want that diffused look, you want that clinically sharp look. Maybe you're doing a project that is a sci-fi project and like a lab, and you need that like nasty, gnarly, clinically sharp like look. Fuck, don't throw on diffusion filters at that point. Like, make it, just go with what you got. Go with what's making that work. Imagine how into Discord. Let's chat Pro Mist. Yes, absolutely. Hop into Discord. Chris says, good times, keeping great creative people. Love it. You guys, absolutely. And Mark, what's the link? Imagine I will put the link in the chat now. Come join the Discord. Make it happen. Oh, no. Let me go copy the link again. All right, you guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to go play some COD and go to bed. You guys have a great night. Go and find your journey. Go embrace life. Stay safe. Be happy. Support each other. Wash those hands, and I'll see you here next time. Peace.